I haven't made one of these in a couple days, and there's a good reason for that. I have an infection at my surgical site. And when I made my surgeon's office aware of this, they called in a prescription for an antibiotic that I'm allergic to. But thankfully I asked and knew that it was a medication that I was allergic to, and I ended up in urgent care, and he gave me a different prescription for a different antibiotic and said, absolutely do not take that one. My reaction to the antibiotic was when I was young, and it was non-life-threatening. The nurse told me that it was possible that I had outgrown the allergy. She also told me it was possible that the allergy could have gotten worse over time. So I did not feel comfortable taking that antibiotic. And at that point, after a long series of events, I didn't really feel like I could trust them to make the best decisions about my medications, so I went to urgent care. I also had kind of an upper respiratory thing going on, maybe. So I went for both things, but mostly the redness and heat down here, which was not great, and pain. They hurt again. This is after I have been told at least 6 times by that office to alternate Advil with my Tylenol. But I'm on blood thinners. I'm on a specific blood thinner that says, do not take Advil. And it is in my chart that I'm on that specific blood thinner. And I have been very vocal about the fact that I am on a blood thinner and cannot take Advil. And even though the first time it was suggested to me, I said, oh, I cannot take that, I'm on a blood thinner, as noted in my chart, it was suggested to me 5 more times. So, with the help of a new, amazing friend of mine, I drafted an email to the surgeon's office. And I got her feedback. And then today I sent it. Tonight I sent it. And on the one hand, they're taking me seriously that I really want to get in early this week and see the surgeon. And they're taking me seriously in that they are going to give me a long enough appointment to address my concerns. On the other hand, the nurse who told me those things about the antibiotic backpedaled and was like, I didn't know that it was a specific allergy. I thought that it was a non-anaphylactic reaction, and it was. I never said that it was anaphylactic reaction. It was joint swelling, which is also not necessarily safe. So in my email I had said that this was a medication that was not necessarily safe for me to take. And she came back with 50% of children outgrow their penicillin-related allergies and blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. I'm allergic to multiple antibiotics, 2 of which, Ceclor and Augmentin, right? Each of those are not supposed to be used, if you have either of those allergies, you are not supposed to use the antibiotic they tried to put me on. So if you have both of those allergies, you're definitely not supposed to take the fucking antibiotic. And so I am just stunned and baffled and confused about this experience. And I'll probably share the email eventually that I sent them and that they sent back. But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm waiting to see how they respond, for one thing, and I'm waiting for feedback from a local organization about how I can best protect other people from having this experience with this business, because I know a lot about my healthcare. I know a lot about my medications. There are so many people who would not know that they can't take Advil with their blood thinners, that is a dangerous thing to do. It can cause internal bleeding, specifically in the intestines and the GI tract. Like, it's not good. You don't want to do that. But because they weren't taking my pain seriously, that's what they kept suggesting. Even though we had 2 conversations pre-op about how even my GeneSight report, my genetic testing, shows that I metabolize opiates, opioids faster than most people, so I need a higher dose and higher quantity of them for them to work effectively for me. And prior to my procedure, they were very on board with this and very like, oh yes, we'll get you whatever you need. And after my procedure, there was a lot of judgment and shaming and like, well, you should just be grateful that we gave you 1 refill, because like we never give anyone this many of those pills. And I don't know how to protect other people other than like writing a bad Google review, but people don't always take those into account. They don't always take them seriously. And like, honestly, if I were not as up to date on all of my medical stuff as I am, if I had taken Advil all the times they told me to take Advil, if I had started taking Advil when they told me to start taking Advil and was still taking Advil now, almost 2 weeks later, that would be really bad. That would be really, 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 really bad. And instead of me being angry and writing a letter at them, to them, not at them, but also kind of at them, they could be dealing with grieving family members in a malpractice suit. Like, that's just true. That's just true. And there have been other things that have happened that have not been great, and I've even said some of those on my videos. So that's not probably totally surprising. The new antibiotic that urgent care put me on had me feeling better within like 18 hours. I still have redness. I still know that there's an infection there. There's still heat. But I physically feel better than I did. And the redness is decreasing, which is promising. The heat is decreasing, which is promising. I don't even know what to tell you, honestly. Like, I'm so angry. I'm so angry between everything that has happened at this facility. And the email response I got back to my email was like pretty, like, part of it was really good, again, in that they're like getting me in quickly to see the surgeon, but the other part was very dismissive and very like, well, you didn't understand what I was saying and what was happening. And it felt like that. It didn't say that, but it had that tone. You know what I mean? So I am dealing with that. I'm sure that it's going to be a very uncomfortable day on Tuesday, because at this point, I don't like that surgeon, and I don't trust that surgeon, and I don't trust his medical advice. I don't trust his nurse's medical advice, because they have put me in danger multiple times by giving me horrible medical advice. How can I trust them? How can I trust them? I'm trying to think of one good thing that happened today, so that I can share with you one good thing that happened today. I'll share with you one good thing that happened yesterday. Yesterday was November 21st of 2025. On November 21st of 2013, I arrived here back in Asheville from South Africa, from the Peace Corps, in the middle of my very first manic episode. I was looking through South Africa photos because I was looking for this specific photo, right? And I found it. And it is my oath that I swore as a Peace Corps officer promising to defend the United States Constitution against all threats, foreign and domestic, etc., etc., which, like, it's a wild thing that they have volunteers signing that and reading it and saying it, but also I did, and so, I have to do that. How am I going to do that? What am I going to do that? I have to figure out how to make sure that my actions and the way that I'm spending my time align with my values. I'm struggling with all this health stuff right now, but I'm also struggling with all of that. I mean, I guess, like, on the one hand, great that I don't want to die. Great that I want to be alive now. On the other hand, wanting to be alive comes with a lot of logistical shit. A lot of logistical shit. This is the longest video I've made, I think. I'm going to let you go. I will talk to you all later. Have a great night.